Hello, I'm Bruce Zimmerman, and this is the Open Line Garden Show podcast for this week. Weigela. Now, Weigela has been around a long time, and even my father had them when I was very, very young. So they've been around a long time. But it seems like some of the older, bigger, tough varieties seem to actually be the best ones. I've had very poor success with Weigelas in the newer breeding of the smaller varieties. Don't ask me why. I have tried several different ones and forget it. Some of them actually make the first year. Some of them actually don't even get into the ground before they die. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I can't figure it out. You do and give them all the most gentle care going, but there is some that just never make it. So if you're going to plant these ones, some of the older varieties should be tried, and don't discount them just for your own sake. But they are big. They do get woody. They do need to be pruned out to new and younger wood in order to maintain flower and size on the older varieties. Now, the newer varieties, there's been bred to do a little less of that. Okay, let's start with checkmark Weigelas. Now, this one was bred and selected for its hardiness, extra large flowers, and different colors. So in the group, it's always been pink, you might get a white, and red. Okay, and the red usually was red or it was the scarlet. So then that was your basic choice, and all the leaves were green except for the variegated one, which had pink flowers. That's what I grew up with. Now, the newer ones are supposedly been bred to be better in the landscape. So checkmark Sunny Side Up, I love the name, and the showy Weigelas have a crisp white and yellow flowers that contrast against the dark green leaves. Now, right there, you know that it's different. Because what word did I say there? White and yellow. Yes, yellow. So, this one is hardy to zone 4. It gets 3 to 4.5 feet tall. It blooms in the spring, which usually means this is going to be a spring bloomer around the first part of June, maybe even late May, depending on where you are. So take a look at that one as well. Now, checkmark Trilogy is an interesting one. It's also quite new. It is an improved variety. It's a more compact carnival than Carnival, the parent, with larger flowers and more vivid hues of white, pink, and red just over top of the glossy foliage. So if you think about it, that's pretty neat, right? You got the glossy green foliage as a backdrop, and not too far above it, you've got the flowers, which are larger, that are white, pink, and red. Not bad. That sounds like something that I could get into. At least it's got some variety. Hardy to zone 4, 3 to 3.5 feet, spring bloom. Checkmark 2 pink. Now, I guess that sort of means that it's got 2 different colors of pink. Pink is pink, and you use it in the garden carefully. Some dark pink and some light pink flowers on this plant. This Weigela is hardy to zone 4, heights 3 to 3.5 feet, and they bloom, of course, in spring. And in this case, I think it's probably late May. Fine Wine is the next one. It's in a different group. It's not a checkmark. And it's a variety that is, let's say, the improved variety or the next better breeding than Wine and Roses Weigela. It has the same dark burgundy foliage, It's compact, rounded in its habit, similar to Spirea japonica. It's more refined plants, got pink flowers, a nice texture. We're talking about the foliage here, okay? It's good for the front of the border or mixed with perennials. You might find it in a low perennial border as well. Hardy to zone 4. Size is 2 to 3 feet. Spring blooming. Definitely something I would take a look at, mainly because of the color of the foliage as well. Because that foliage color is a harder foliage to get, and if it's compact, it'll be cool there. Ghost Weigela. This is one of the ones I had a hard time with. It has dark reddish pink flowers in the spring and again in the summertime. It has foliage that turns to a ghostly color, iridescent buttercream as the summer progresses. Still had a problem with this plant. Okay, didn't like me or something. Hardy to zone 4, 4 to 5 feet, spring bloom, and you should take a look at that one because it has the darkish, reddish, pink flowers. Midnight wine, it's more low, more mounding, more dwarf than wine and roses. It's great for along the edge of the border. Hardy to zone 5, 10 to 12 inches only, and it does provide some foliage interest because, of course, it gets some fall color. My Monet, here's another one I have a problem with. This one is the one that sort of survived with care and babying for the first year, and then the second year just went, and it was so ugly I just ripped it out and threw it away. Dwarf Weigela, it has gold foliage. It's very attractive. It's got some sunset fall colors. It is fairly compact. It's 1 to 1.5 foot. Hardy to zone 5. It has soft rosy pink flowers as well. And it's good because of the size in the front of beds and borders. And so you can sort of move it around. Sonic Boom Reblooming Weigela. Now, it was the Sonic Boom, I believe, red, that I had so much problems with this year that I just said forget it. Eventually, it just died. Okay? And got tossed. It has waves of flowers in late spring. It's pruning, basically you just don't, which is kind of nice. It makes it a little more low maintenance plant. Big. Some of them can be big, but most are going to be about 4 to 5 feet. So as long as you've got a shrub or a border that will handle a plant that big and integrate it in and not have it sit out there like a specimen on the ocean. This Sonic Boom Reblooming Weigela is an excellent group of plants, but Sonic Boom is the one that red is the one that died on me this spring already. Who knows why? Couldn't figure it out. Maybe I just babied it too much. Pearl is the first one. It has bright green foliage. The flowers are pure white, and there's a little bit of yellow in the throat. Hardy to zone 5, and I think you're going to get reblooming on this one as well. And then there's Sonic Boom Pink. It is supposed to be a rebloomer, we will see. Hot pink buds and deep pink flowers. So take a look. Hardy to zone 5, 4 to 5 feet. Spring reblooming. So it's worthwhile. Then the Sonic Red is the one that died on me, okay, this spring. It's got lipstick red flowers. They're really quite nice. I've seen it bloom. And its flowers are fairly large. They have a tendency to droop down a little bit. They shock a little bit, but they come through that and die from some other unknown reason. At least that's my experience. Spilled wine. Spilled wine Weigela has dark red, wavy leaves, sort of a spreading habit. It's got hot pink magenta flowers, which is a pretty nice color. And if you are looking for one, you might want to look at this one. I've had a lot of people say they like this one, and it does well for them. So take a look at that one. Hardy to zone 4, 2 to 3 feet tall, 3 feet wide, and spring bloom, and of course, slight deer resistance. Wine and Roses, another one died on me a few years back. I don't know. This one is supposedly a great one. It has won all kinds of prizes. It has dark burgundy purple foliage. It has intense rosy pink colored flowers. It does like full sun. So if you want the best color out of these, you're going to have to do that. I would go and plant this one. Hardy to zone 4, and it's 4 to 5 feet. What else have we got? We got a few other Weigelias because they've started doing a lot of breeding with Weigelias. But I'm going to recommend one, and it's supposed to be an improved one. It's My Monette Sunset. This one is a dwarf Weigelia. It's got gold foliage. I like that part. Okay, right there. They had me with gold foliage. Sunset hued fall color. Well, even better. And it is a soft, rosy pink flowers. And it's the first one of the Weigelias to actually bloom. And it will give you multi-season color because of foliage, etc. Hardiness is zone 5. And I think you're going to like it. It's 1 to 1.5 feet tall, so it's not big. Okay? Take a look. Maybe that one will be successful for you. Again, the newer varieties seem not to like me. The bigger, older varieties are like weeds, but they do have that extra special care required where you're thinning the old growth out in order to rejuvenate the bush to keep it healthy and blooming heavily over the years. I'm Bruce Zimmerman. This is the Open Line Garden Show podcast for this week.